Imagine a world where the solution to prevent childbirth included crocodile dung, animal intestines, herbal concoctions that could knock your socks off.
Huh?
Yup, welcome to the medieval age of contraception, where things were a lot, well, sort of creative but wilder and definitely horrifying. Stay tuned as we unravel the shocking, hilarious, and downright bizarre methods used to control birth centuries before modern science stepped in. Spoiler, it involves some things that might make your skin crawl. Welcome to Easily Explained, and today we are going for wacky world of medieval contraception. While many think contraception started with modern medicine, history tells a much different and a weirder story. From the sands of ancient Egypt to the cobbled streets of the medieval Europe, humans have always looked for the ways to control their family sizes, and as they didn't exactly have access to modern pharmacies, so picture this: instead of a pill, you get crocodile dung. Yup, we are starting strong. Now, from around the world, if you're looking for bizarre and mind boggling contraception methods, let's start where the democracy took birth: ancient Greece. See, the Greeks were creative folks. One popular and, let's be honest, hilarious method was to have women sneeze right after intercourse. Soranus of Ephesus, an ancient doctor, recommended squatting and sneezing to expel the offending agents. If only ancient gyms had sneeze trainer. And if you thought modern workouts were intense, medieval practices had their own version of post-coital jumping. Women were advised to jump backwards multiple times or hop on one foot while holding their breath to shake out any risk of contraception. It was part high stakes exercise, part magical ritual, and 100% bizarre. But sneezing or jumping wasn't all. See, the medieval Europe and other regions were influenced by mystical beliefs. Numbers had significant power. The numbers 7 and 9 were seen as magical, often used in rituals to ward off unwanted pregnancy. Women might recite incantations or perform specific post intercourse movements 7 or 9 times, holding their breath as a way to trap or release certain energies. While these methods sound wild today, the belief in their effectiveness at that point was very strong. And if you ever looked at a lemon and thought, this could be more than just for lemonade, you would be in the same wavelength as some people in medieval Europe. Lemons were cut in half and used as a cervical cap. The citric acid was believed to kill sperm, creating a natural, albeit stingy barrier. Whether this worked reliably is questionable, but it was an early attempt at acidic spermicide, proving that even back then they believed when life gives you lemons, make birth control. Now let's move to Persia. That is the ancient Iran. In Persia, rock salt mixed with water was used for dowsing. The logic? Salt kills things. The result? Probably less than the ideal comfort and maybe a lot of wishful thinking. The Persian also believed in fumigation. Women would sit over burning herbs and raisins, hoping the smoke would discourage conception. Whether it worked or just made them smell like a medieval barbecue, it's still up for debate. And then here is Egypt. We can't skip the classic crocodile dung and honey paste. Applied like a pessary, this concoction allegedly created a barrier against pregnancy. Was it effective? Maybe not so much. But the psychological deterrent was probably strong. And more sensibly, ancient Egyptians used acacia gum as a vaginal insert, which modern science show could ferment into lactic acid, potentially acting as a spermicide. Well, sometimes ancient wisdom was on the right track. In the ancient Rome, Roman women sometimes carried out ammonia soaks at the bath, using mixtures involving animal urine. Rationale? Ammonia corrosive properties. And the reality? Probably not the most pleasant starting. But the Roman had silphium, a magical herb so revered it was stamped onto coins. Used as a contraceptive, it was so effective that it went extinct. Nature's version of this is why we can't have nice things. Also in Europe, they used animal bladders and intestines, and we could say that they were the OG condom.
Huh?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, could say that. Like they were thinly washed, tied up, and reused. They were somewhat effective if you don't mind a little lambskin in romantic movements. Also, it was rife with superstition, so women sometimes carried amulets made from cat bones or otter testicles. Some cultures believe wearing or harnessing animal parts like otter testicles could prevent pregnancy. Logic, maybe the mystical idea that otter's fertility prowess could transfer as anti fertility energy. The effectiveness, let's just take a belief was stronger than the result. In ancient China, some methods bordered on horrifying. Women would drink small amounts of mercury, thinking it could prevent pregnancy. Actually, it did, but mostly by killing you. They also combined hot water and herbal infusions as douches. Well, it was a safer approach, but still not foolproof. But in Africa, honey and acacia leaves were used to create the cervical plug that blocked sperm. WD as physical and mildly spermicidal barrier. Sounds like something you would find in an early alchemist guidebook. Spiritual practices played a huge role. Rituals and talismans were used to shield women from unwanted pregnancy. Medicine and mysticism. Well, the plants like blue cohosh were used to prevent pregnancies. These herbs, when brewed into teas, were natural solutions, but their effectiveness varied by community and individual health. They also chewed papaya seeds to prevent pregnancy, and modern studies have somewhat shown that they indeed affect sperm count. So this method wasn't as outlandish as some others. And here in India, they were used to have a neem oil. Like the seeds of the neem trees were crushed and used as a natural spermicides. And neem oil is still considered by some as a potential contraceptive today due to its ability to reduce sperm mortality. Well, in Australia, contraception wasn't only about physical method. Many indigenous Australian groups practiced natural family planning by observing the phases of the moon combined with the periods of abstinence. Now, how does these contraception impacted the women as well as the society? Well, from risking their lives with the mercury and harsh substances to enduring social stigma, women often bore the brunt of these experimental solutions. Imagine trusting your health to a concoction of crocodile dung and herbs. Contraception wasn't just about the family planning, it was about survival, autonomy, and sometimes sheer desperation. So for women, it was empowerment, perhaps. Risk, absolutely. Well, while there were some hits, there were plenty of misses. High infant mortality rates and the large family sizes suggest that most of these methods were more hopeful than foolproof. Yet the creativity behind them shows humanity's relentless pursuit of control over reproduction. And now, if we have to talk about the condom, we have to talk about the latest. It wasn't until the 19th century that the rubber took the center stage. In the 19th century, the rubber condom developed thanks to Charles Goodyear's vulcanization of rubber. No more lab intestines or fish bladders, okay? Modern latex condoms and other methods like hormonal pills and IUDs redefined the landscape. Medieval women didn't just rely on animal parts and rituals. They turned to the nature pharmacy. It offered the alternate plants like wild carrot seeds, that's Queen's Anne's lace, which showed in ancient Greeks and is still used today in some herbal medicine circles. In fact, in the ancient Rome, Silphium was so popular that it was used to its extinction. Neem oil and pomegranate root also found their way into the recipes passed down through generations. But are they really better than modern options? The jury is still out. But the DIY risk remains high. So, could any of these ancient methods be viable alternatives today? The answer lies in the careful examination. While some plants like neem and Queen's Anne's lace have shown genuine promise in research, others such as pennyroyal pose several health risks. Nature's methods are intriguing, but they are not without their limitations. Modern contraception is generally safer and more reliable, though the appeal of hormone-free plant-based options continue to interest the scientists. Now, what could the future hold? Well, today we have hormone-free pills, male contraceptive gels, and even reversible contraceptive implants in the world. They have gone from the crocodile dung to condom with a special texture. And the future, we might see innovations like non-surgical sterilization and AI-assisted family planning. A world where technology controls biology with precision and no animals cut required. So, the contraception has a rich wild, and often eyebrow-raising history. From crocodile dung to latex and AI, contraception has come a long way. The journey wasn't easy, obviously, filled with bizarre and sometimes dangerous methods. But each odd solution paved the way to better, safer options. And what next, only time and science will tell. Until then, maybe we should all take a moment to appreciate the progress and as well the lack of crocodile dung in our daily routines.